Welcome back to Mega Man 2. Today we will take on Wily Stage 3 and Wily Stage 4. See, this video is on the long side as they are all getting on the long side. Wily 3 does not take us very long, but Wily 4 for me is quite a slog, and we will see why when we get there. Also, we noticed that that awesome music went away, and we get this rather irritating piece of music for these levels. This one is just an ascending by half steps tune, and da-dee-da-dee. We've got some more underwater physics here. See, it changes the jump height, and the fish meant to take down anyone trying to hurry through the stage. If you don't remember, those spikies are instant kills, no matter your health, so have to be avoided carefully, and they have more of these blind falling spots, which I'm not a huge fan of because I don't really love games that require lots and lots of memorization, and this one generally does not. Usually you can work your way through stages pretty well without having to memorize lots of patterns. But the blind jumping. Any game with blind jumping. The next one we do has some blind jumping too that I don't love. And again, these levels are usually not polished when I play through these because I don't spend a lot of time practicing on them because I just enjoy playing them, making the videos. It's fun for me. So at the end of Wily 3 here, we'll be taking on one of the Robot Masters from Mega Man 1. This is Gutsman and his Guts Dozer. He's quite susceptible to the quick boomerang. So we'll load ourselves up, and this is the easy mode. Now, Gutsman was not quite that big in the first game. This is a souped-up Gutsman Guts Dozer. But you can see how much health he's taking with each quick boomerang. Down he goes. So Wily 3 is finished. Wily 4 has more of that irritating music, which I wish it did not, because there's quite a bit of playing in Wily 4 that we need to take care of. You can see us continuing through the castle. Bam, bam. On our way. Okay. So, this stage, again, that music comes back. It's quite a long stage. We have to work pretty methodically through it, and as you'll see, we have to work methodically through most of it again. Just because of some of my flaws and techniques I had not yet learned at the time. Between these videos, I had gotten a game over intentionally to get my health or my lives back and the weapon energy back. This comes up quite a bit in this level, the invisible blocks, and my timing on the jump was not perfect. To get through there, you have to have a pretty well-timed jump to cross that gap. Didn't quite get it, and the emulators are tricky for me to get those real perfectly timed jumps. There seems to be just a tiny bit of delay or lag from the controller input that I use. And the controller that I use is not as comfortable on the fingers as the old NES controller was. The buttons are a little bit, the action on the buttons is a little bit higher up than the NES controllers. I did invest in the actual NES USB adapter controller for these because I like to use the emulator for Super NES games and Sega games and Game Boy games too. So especially for Super NES, you need those L and R buttons and the A, B, X, Y buttons on top. Here I just assume that there's some invisible platforms, so I'll just take my item across the gap. I didn't even want to mess with it. Here I know we have some invisible holes, so we'll work our way, taking these guys out. You gotta get them to trigger. You can take them out with an angled attack on the metal blade. You can see me kind of testing and feeling my way around to where those holes will be. There it is. Still miss my power up there. Now here I'm assuming that there will be one. There we go. And on we work. Here's where we'll be starting over here in a little while. So we have to fight through another pretty annoying pile with this irritating music. I wish they had kept the same Wily 1 and 2 music through this stage, especially since this one takes so long. And when it repeats, it just goes back down. I don't know how many cycles it goes through. I don't know if it goes through a full octave of this or on the second. And that's really as we're working through some of these slower stages. Third, if it goes up through all 12 or 11, we work up that full octave. 4. There's more of these stages, and again, my emulator's sound does not perfectly emulate the leaf shield sound. It turns it into that annoying sound that's not so pleasing to the ear. And to another stage of these, and I hadn't looked up the names of those guys. These enemies all have names, of course, that are all kind of silly video game enemy names, but I usually don't bother to look those up. So coming up, the boss of this stage, I'll describe it while we're still working our way there. It's one of those, I saw this on some FAQs for different games. It's this is a lovely room of death boss from Ace Ventura 2. It's where the boss is a room that you have to fight with hazards. There isn't a specific enemy that you fight. And here I'm trying to spam for some power-ups, but it looked like it wasn't going to work for me. So there are cannons on the walls, and several of the cannons are protected by a blastable wall. But sadly, only the crash bombs can destroy the walls, and same for the cannons. Only the crash bombs can destroy the cannons. They're immune to all of Mega Man's other weapons. But even with full charge on the crash bombs, Mega Man won't have enough of the special weapon energy to take out the walls protecting the cannons and the cannons themselves. So my system when I was doing this playthrough was to take the first attempt at these and blow out the walls with my crash bombs, and then take an intentional death, because if you don't game over, if you just start over again, the walls will be gone on the second playthrough. Now if you take a game over and come back, the walls will be back. So here, I'm using my crash bomb energy to destroy the walls. Now some really great players that I've seen since this have used their crash bombs to take out multiple walls. If you position the crash bombs just perfectly, you can take out, like right there, you can take out this wall and the wall above it if you get a crash bomb positioned pretty well. Here I'm doing this little pause buffering trick. As you can see, when they fire their cannons, they all fire where Mega Man is standing. And they're quite difficult to dodge. So I'm skipping the cannons and just focusing on getting those walls. But when you unpause from that menu, you see Mega Man for a couple of frames is in an invulnerable state where he's still on the little vertical line as when he warps for just a couple of frames or one frame after the pause menu. So when the cannons are firing at you when they're in the air, if you just pause and unpause quickly, as those cannon beams go past you, you won't take the hit. So here it's happening again. Pausing, and the beams are past me. So now I can go back to taking out the walls. And another thing with the crash bomb is that you can't fire a second crash bomb while one is waiting to detonate. So I can't just work my way quickly through the room and just put a bomb on all the walls. And now I'm just going to take the death here intentionally because I'm out of crash bomb energy. Try a few other weapons on these. Nothing works. We'll let my flash freeze run down, and we'll take the death. Alright, so now we'll have to work our way back to that room, but the walls will all have been destroyed. So we're in good shape for that. It just means that we have to work our way through these again. And we have to find some recharges for our crash bombs, which won't be too much of a problem because there's a lot of enemies between here and there, and they usually have pretty good item drops. But it does mean we have to put up with rather a lot of the annoying leaf shield sound effect. I'm working with my computer to get some some better sound options for making videos and for doing online conversations, online chatting. I know my computer is a pretty low-end model with a lot of power and not very high-quality stats, and my mic is also a cheap headphone mini plug mic rather than the USB mics that are usually recommended for higher quality sounds. But I've been having some problems getting my Google Hangout sounds to work, and I think it's because I've been monkeying around with my sound settings to make these videos and setting defaults to stereo mix and things like that. So I need to do some work on that. That'll be later on today. Today's the 12th of December. There was a 1-up I wish I could have picked up. And there was a weapon recharge I wish I could have picked up. But here I'm trying to get them to drop those recharges at a place where I can grab them. I can't touch the spikes. They're instant kills. Can't do much in the holes. And the recharges, those power-ups, you see I came close to grabbing that other one, but they're actually not grabbable until they hit the ground. So those ones that are dropped over a pit are not grabbable until they touch the solid ground. So even though I entered the same area, I was not able to actually charge up. Here we go. I need to take some of these guys out to get a recharge. And I'm hurrying a bit through these. So there's part of one crash bomb, probably with the little guys. I need to get one of the big power-ups. There's the one I needed. And on we go to finally finish off the Wily 4 boss. That gives me enough to take out the 5 cannons. There's one. Now we wait. I wish I could take out that second one, but you can't fire another crash bomb until the first one is detonated again. We'll also see there's some other things like that using the transport items, item 1, 2, and 3, where you can't enter that menu until your things have despawned or finished out. So it leaves you kind of susceptible to taking hits from the cannons because I'm not able to pause. Now I can. It's disappeared. Here we go. And yeah, each one just goes down to 1 crash bomb. That's all it takes for each one. Pause buffering. Get those cannons out of the way. And I'd love to just blast these last 2, but we have to go through another cycle because those crash bombs are so slow, and I have to be exact with my aim. Probably could have taken that last one out, but have to be careful. I don't want to take another hit. Down we go, and down goes the lovely Room of Death. Next week we will continue on going towards the end of Wily's castle.